Okay, so now this is the fourth recording, the third upload that'll go to YouTube. Hopefully I can get it right this time. God, I hate technology. So I live in North Pole, Alaska, and my name is Betty Holder. My friends know me as Linky. I think right now my weather station may be a bit mobile versus a stable, stay put kind of thing. I work at a school in Fairbanks with 400 students at Ryan Middle School, and I interact with about 50 of them on a regular basis, and I want to use this as a learning tool with them, but first I need to get permission from my principal to be able to put this weather station somewhere on school grounds. Until then, I'll be doing my weather forecasts from here at my home in North Pole, which this is a rough location of where my home is. I'm about 10 to 15 minute drive from the main gate of Chena Lakes. If I walk out my front door and go down the back way, I can be at the back side of Chena Lakes in about 5, maybe 10 minutes tops, depending on how many stops the dogs decide to make when we go. Last week, when we first started class, I was in Hickory, North Carolina, where the temperatures were well warmer in comparison to here. It was 47 degrees at Charlotte Douglas International Airport when I stepped off the plane. It was a bit warmer than that when I stepped off the plane in Chicago a few hours before and thought I was going to pass out. But their airport's all glass, it seems like, so there was a bit of an incubation feeling going on there. A little more humidity in the air as well. These were the temperatures inside my home at about 3:30 this afternoon when I started taking my temperatures. I have roughly a 2,000 square foot duplex with a 700 square foot attached garage that I've turned into a closed-in living room. I've not framed in the doors where the garage doors were. I have, however, sealed them from the interior. And this was the temperatures between the two homes at about 78, almost 80 degrees in there in the garage area. Like I said, that is now a living room. It's probably about 2 to 4 degrees warmer downstairs in the daylight basement, and probably roughly the same temperature upstairs in the main living area where I live. The millibar reading was about 1010 roughly on the barometer in comparison to the temperatures indicated on the thermostat. Oh, we're back to that map again. This is a more tactile, topical version of the map showing the mountainous areas and the actual water area of Chena Lakes over in the left corner in comparison to where I actually live. So when I went out yesterday, which was Saturday the 28th, temperatures in the area were negative 45, which is typically the temperature that I don't leave the house at. But I needed to get up to the university and then go grocery shopping. On the way out Hearst Road, we almost clipped a guy because the ice fog was so dense on Hearst Road. And there are areas along the Richardson into Fairbanks where it was fairly dense as well. I kind of correlate that with the fact that those areas are a bit more boggy. There's more water in those areas. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it seems to be a typical thing, something that I've noticed, that wherever there's water or a lot of moisture in the ground, there tends to be a denser ice fog. So again, these are the temperatures in the house, give or take, when I was doing them. I looked on my wall thermostat. That's my other temperature here in the garage living room area. When I took the temperatures, and it read that it was 76 degrees based on that. When I went outside and placed my thermometer and things outside, it was about an hour after I did my indoor readings. So I gave myself a little time, a little bit more of a struggle to make sure that I was getting everything done correctly. It was negative 37 degrees, roughly, to 35 degrees outside. I couldn't get the minimum temperatures to read. I had to bring the thermometer inside in order to get it to let me push the buttons and lift the lid without the cracky, creaky sound emanating from the thermometer. It was a bit scary. And that mad dash out the door was just that. I went out real quick, came right back in real quick, didn't take time to see which way my breath blew because I held my breath because it hurt to breathe out there. I did stand and look out the door, the windows of the doors, to see if the trees were blowing in any way, and did not see any indication that the trees were moving in any way. The snow, loose snow off the roof, I wasn't seeing any indication of it accumulating on the car, where we have blankets covering the vehicle hoods in order to keep temperatures inside for the warmth when they heat up, when they turn on, and keep the warmth inside. The backyard and side area of my yard did look a bit foggy. It's not as thick as the fog has been recently. The dogs were outside barking the other night, and most likely there was a moose buried somewhere out in that pea soup out there. When I went out, the skies were fairly clear, very little in the way of clouds and things like that. There were some towards the north, towards Fairbanks, as you drive that way, as I was looking towards Fairbanks. No other indications other than very, very cold temperatures, very, very hard to work with the thermometers and things like that with the temperatures this cold, to get things to actually function the way they're supposed to. Some of the plastics, I'm afraid, if they're exposed too often to the cold, aren't going to withstand the temperatures. I'm not sure if I'm going to withstand the temperatures. Having grown up in North Carolina for 18 years, I've had it 100 degrees in the shade with 100% humidity. That I can handle. Moved from there to Texas for basic training in tech school. It was hotter there, but it was a little bit drier heat in comparison. So when the temperatures got to 120 outside, we didn't do PT. Moved on from there to Vegas as my first duty station and encountered my first windstorm with the sand blowing so hard that I couldn't see to put 2 feet in front of me. And then from there I went to Osan, South Korea, where I encountered my first monsoon. The humidity level was the same, the temperature level was the same as what I'd grown up with in North Carolina, but again, North Carolina, we got winds off the tornadoes, but I never actually saw the funnels themselves, which I think is very good. Did have a tornado alert while I was there, but never had anything touch down when I lived in North Carolina. So I've experienced some extreme temperatures. This is, I believe, by far the most extreme and the scariest. When it's so cold your vehicles won't start. When it's so cold that your tires thunk on the ground, it terrifies me. As does trying to work this computer and upload these programs and make sure things work right. So, again, hopefully this one worked. Thanks, and everybody stay safe and stay warm. Good night.